time for today's Outside View, and that is, of course, brought to you by our friends at Broadleaf's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, your trusted source for heating and plumbing service and installation for generations. 609-390-3907, online, broadleafs.net. All right, Jesse Holley is host of Believe in the Cowboys, former Cowboys wide receiver. Actually, if you remember, Jesse played for the Tar Heels, North Carolina. Now, am I wrong to say that you were also on the basketball team?
I was 2005 national champion.
National championship. There we
It's
go.
game tonight, man. Good night at Allen Fieldhouse in Kansas, man. Let's go.
Yeah, you're right. I'm actually getting ready for a little college basketball myself. Not quite on that level, but I did. I was like, I think he played on that team that won the national championship game. Jesse, let's get into this Cowboys team because it warms our heart here to see this team struggling so much. And I want to get your take on the quarterback situation and why Cooper Rush over Lance. I guess this says that they think they still have a shot to kind of salvage this season as opposed to start to evaluate if Lance can play at all.
Well, here's my thing on the Trey Lance situation. What are we evaluating? Like, what are we evaluating? I mean, he gave him all the preseason reps. You see him every single day in practice. You see him in the meeting room. You've had 2 years now that he's been here? You've had a long time to evaluate. Now, I'm no professional season evaluator, but I don't know how much time you actually need for a coach like Mike McCarthy, who's been around this league for 20-plus years, who's been around some pretty good quarterbacks, whether or not a guy can actually play or not. So that's my take when it comes to the Trey Lance situation. As far as when it comes to the Cooper Rush, he's been in this program for 7 seasons. He understands. He's been Dak Prescott's backup for a long time. When he did get a chance, now I'll have a little caveat in that. When he was stepping in for Dak Prescott, those teams were a little bit different. Those teams were a little bit better. But for Cooper Rush, he's proven to you that he could get into a game, control a game, and you don't have to truly change up the playbook that much with Cooper Rush at the helm than you do with Trey Lance.
Regardless of who the quarterback is, Jesse, I'm going to make a statement that I hope you agree with. This team can't run the ball, right? I mean, is that what you're watching? Because that's what I see.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, 100%. Now, the one thing I will say is, and I hope this is in my hope and in my heart, that they finally got away from the running back by committee, something that I don't think Mike McCarthy actually wanted to do all year long. Now, the last time that Rico Gatto did have a decent game, the next game, Zeke Elliott got most of the carries. Well, Zeke wasn't available last week. We'll see how it goes this week. This team has struggled, man. This offensive line, the rookies have struggled. Even the grizzled in my opinion, future Hall of Famer Zach Martin, he has struggled this season. He's missed 2 practices this week with a shoulder injury. So, trying to find running lanes have been slim to none for this Cowboys running game.
Yeah, that's been a problem for them. You're right. And that's another big thing. Normally you play a Dallas team, you got this big, nasty offensive line. It's been one of the calling cards for this team, but it seems that the line is also an issue, and that causes protection issues, and they don't have a lot of options. They might be calling you to come back and play a little wide out.
Yeah, they can call me. That option will be bad, too. That option will be really bad.
But give us a little insight, though, on obviously CD, and they traded for the receiver this week, and what this passing game might look like with Cooper Rush this week.
Yeah, let's start with the trade of Jonathan Mingo. Jonathan Mingo is a 2025 future prospect for this Cowboys team. He won't play this week. They'll try to get him ramped up and adjusted to what he's doing here in Dallas. But they're looking at that draft pick as someone who they had highly regarded. They had him as a high third-round pick on their draft boards a couple years ago when he came out of Ole Miss. But that's going to be more for the future. Yes, he will get into some games this year, but they're looking at that as being something that they can put the pieces together for the future Cowboys teams. And right now, CeeDee Lamb, he had the sprained AC joint that he had happen in the game last week. He said pretty much it's more of a pain tolerance issue for him right now playing in this game. And for this entire season, it's been CeeDee Lamb and the others. And so, we've been hoping and waiting and wishing that guys like Jalen Tolbert would step up and have significant growth in his game and to be a dominant factor, or one of the other guys, whether it be Jalen Brooks or Kavontae Turpin, and it just hasn't panned out for the Cowboys this year. And then it was, we heard last year guys like Travis Kelce and George Kittle talk so highly about Dick Ferguson, and we thought that was going to be a major leap at the tight end for the Cowboys this year. And he's been used up a lot to help Chip, to help staying in blocks because the protection has been so bad that it's kind of cost him the ability to get out there and to be a route runner for the Cowboys. So for Cooper Rush, man, it's going to be a lot of CD. He had 17 targets a week ago in Atlanta. So look for another one of those types of games where CD Lamb gets, head and shoulders above the targets, 15, 16, 17 targets a game, and the others will just have to fill in where they can.
That's going to be a fun matchup. Jesse Holley's here from Believe in the Cowboys, former Cowboys wide receiver. Watching him, possibly Quinyon Mitchell, the rookie, who's been really good. I'm looking forward to see how Quinyon steps up in that matchup there. And then, you take a look. I want to get your perspective on, you look at Philly's offense and the defense that Dallas has played, especially at home. They've been dreadful at home for whatever reason. The weapons here, Saquon, who, by the way, has never beaten Dallas, 0-10. You got Smith, you got Brown, Goddard's going to be back this week. Does Dallas have the personnel, even with Micah possibly, most likely back? It looks like he practiced all week. Is there a plan that they have with the personnel they have to shut this offense down?
Yeah, the plan is that whatever bust Saquon and Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Lane Johnson, if they get on the first bus, is that we find some way to take that bus and keep it running past AT&T Stadium, because if they make it to AT&T Stadium, there really isn't an answer that the Cowboys have to stop the Eagles' offense right now. And I know you said that Saquon's 0-10 against the Cowboys in his career.
Yep.
Well, all streaks come to an end at some point in time, and that probably will happen for him this weekend. Micah will play this weekend, but this is a guy who's been out for a little over 4 weeks with the high ankle sprain, and his conditioning won't be anywhere near where it should be, where he needs it to be, for him to be the old Micah Parsons. So look to see him more so on dedicated passing downs in the game, because just him playing his regular workload of 60, 70 snaps, I just don't think he has the conditioning, being out as long as he's been out, to do that. And the defensive line for the Dallas Cowboys has been a problem, not just this year, for a long time. And when you look at what Philadelphia wants to do in running the football, Mozzie Smith and others just have not been able to hold up front. And we've given up over 150 rushing yards to most of the premium running backs that we've played this year. And Saquon right now is probably in that conversation of being, if not one or two, are the best backs in the league right now. So I don't see a plan happening. I looked up a stat a couple of weeks ago that even when the Cowboys loaded the box the Cowboys defense loaded the box, the opposing team running the ball on first down, they had a 52% success rate, and the success rate being over 4 yards per carry. So the Cowboys, even when they try to add more men to the box that you can block, they've still been teams that have been able to run the ball successfully on the Cowboys, and I just don't see that stopping this week against the Eagles.
Jesse, I got more streaks for you that should make Dallas feel good, by the way. They're 17-1 at home against NFC East opponents in their last 18 games. By the way, Jalen Hurts has never won in Dallas either. So there's a lot of things going against Philadelphia. And by the way, the line of 7 in this game, Philly's a 7-point road favorite. They are 0-10 against the spread in their last 10 games when they have been favored by 4 or more points. So it feels like, yeah, Dallas personnel-wise is up against it, but for some reason they stuck in that game against Atlanta. They hung around in that game against San Francisco. Is this a game where you think like they've been fighting, there's just too much going on, or is this one of those games that they can kind of make ugly?
No, like if you watch the entire game of San Francisco, that third quarter, San Francisco decided to come and play football and stretched it out, and then they just kind of went to the prevent mode. Kind of the same thing happened in Atlanta. And, oh, by the way, the quarterback in each one of those games was one Dak Prescott, who does have, top 3 in the league in, second half and fourth quarter comebacks. He won't be playing. He won't be dressing out for this game. So, all those things, all the things that gives us hope was having your QB1 under center, that he won't be a lot of pressure is being put on Cooper Rush. And again, the team that he was leading in the past, talk about offensive line. You had a good, young, healthy Tyron Smith, and you had a healthy Zach Martin, and that offensive line was really good. That Zeke was a good running back. Tony Pollard was a part of those teams for Cooper Rush. You had a young CeeDee Lamb. You had guys in that defense was a young, fresh Micah Parsons, and that defensive line was able to hold up. You had good safety play. All of those things are not right now for the Cowboys. And so I get all the streaks and what the Eagles are. And now, listen, if anybody hopes they come true, I hope they come true. But I am a realistic man. I watched the film this week. I broke it down, and I would be very shocked if Philly left AT&T Stadium around 6:30 Central Standard Time with the L on their record.
I was going to say, don't confuse us here on the East Coast, man. 6:30, we're like, wait, that means the game's not quite over yet. And that's what happened last week against Jacksonville. The Eagles, much like San Francisco, kind of took the foot off the gas and let the Jags down back in that game. Almost lost that game if it wasn't for that Nakobe Dean interception. Jesse Holley is host of Believe in the Cowboys. And you can believe, Jesse, we have a lot of Cowboy fans in our listening audience. So if you're a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, check out Jesse on Believe in Cowboys. And, of course, he joined us here for today's Outside View, the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. And you can listen to the game on 97.3 ESPN. Jesse, we will catch up with you down the road.
Yeah, no, it should be a really good, interesting game, man. One little tidbit that I've been kind of hanging on this week when I looked at this game. Kellen Moore, one, we all know your head coach. He's a little bit of we say a brick with the P in the front, and you guys can agree with that too. But Kellen Moore is going to want to get some get back on this Dallas Cowboys team. And the thing that I think is truly important that they're going to come out and be ultra aggressive and try to put this game away early. Philadelphia has a game against the number one team in the conference. In the division in 4 days. They play a Thursday game against the Commanders. So I think they're going to be looking to come in and attack the Cowboys, embarrass them at home, but be able to pull those starters out in the third and fourth quarter to rest them up for that big Thursday night game they have for the division lead.
Yep, Washington Thursday night. Good point there, by the way, with Kellen Moore. I totally forgot. He's going back to play against the Cowboys, so we'll see that another layer unfold in this great rivalry. Jesse, appreciate it, man.
You guys got it, man.